Welcome to one of my libraries, the most important library. There's another one over there that's not as important. And there's other libraries. There's a secret library. There's a public library. It's not public totally, but it's where I don't care about most of those books. Although that one does have some rare books in it I could probably sell, or somebody else could sell and support themselves here. This library is the most important one. It doesn't have a ton of books, but it has some, and these are the books about architecture, permaculture. Look, I've got Edible Forest Gardens up there, volume 1 and 2. I've got Permaculture Designer's Manual by Bill Mollison. These are not all in order, unfortunately. They used to be, but it's hard to keep books in order. I need like a library fascist. I need to build a whole library where you can check books out from it and only one person goes and gets the book for you and the entire catalog is online. Because books have a massive value, and maybe you're a person who's grown up with the internet, but there was a time before the internet when you actually had to go look for books. Like when I went to university, there was a card catalog and they had 27 different libraries for different things. And those were just, for me, a young guy, looking, hungry mind, looking for information, knowledge. I could suck the knowledge out of those books and take it into my mind. And that's what I've been doing since I was a young man, and obviously I'm not that young anymore. But this is a great selection of books. I wish I had a catalog of them to share with you. I've got books about history. Look, there's one on solar hot water heating here, which I'm very interested in, and it does not describe things the way I would want them described. A lot of these books have affected me massively. Look, here's Growing Mushrooms by Paul Stamets. I got 2 of his books. The Apple Grower, Common Sense Forestry, books about plants. See, those plant books are supposed to be on that shelf over there, but whatever. Shit moves around. Ooh, Sexual Secrets. Ooh, nasty, nasty. Raising Your Own Turkeys. Magic and Medicine of Plants. Yeah, this was the plant thing here, in here. Yeah, these are all messed up. And I don't use this building right now. This is the first time I've been in this building in many, many months. Look, I've got a first edition of Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which I don't think I made it through. I've got Foxfire books. I don't have the whole catalog of all the Foxfire books, but if you look up Foxfire books, those are cool books. I've got a book on Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard. I've got the 21 Lessons of Merlin. All my spiritual books are actually, well, most of them, are over there in boxes. So in this building, I've got like boxes of spiritual books, which are, of course, mostly bullshit. But you have to learn about the bullshit so you can make something that actually functions. Yeah, there's definitely some spiritual books mixed in here. More books about sex. Sex in History. Sex at Dawn. Somebody just told me in a comment that one of my books about sex, it's called The Ethical Slut. She found it on my bookshelf and read it, and that actually affected her. That's become part of her life. So that's cool. And I would love to share these more with people. Got one on Ashtanga Yoga, my favorite kind of yoga. History books. Back to Basics. It's a Reader's Digest book on simple living in different ways. Stuff we should remember about. That's the tiniest, weakest little... Oh, and then the books here I have down here are books I was showing to someone. Earthbag Building. This is a very well-used book. No, it's not. It's the other one that's well used. It's The Hand-Built House. No, The Hand-Sculpted House. Yeah. Here's one I referred to. It's just a spiral-bound book. How to Build a Spray-in-Place Concrete Fence. See, I should look at that. Is it a shitty fence or isn't it? I don't know. I have to look at the book again. I have lots of architecture stuff. The $50 and up underground house book. Now that is an old book, but really cool design. Like, it totally twists around the architecture of how a house could be. And I imagine the same principles being applied to a much larger building, looking at airflow and slope and all sorts of stuff. So this is why I think I'm a relatively smart guy with good ideas, is because I've spent my entire life trying to learn. And even when I was in college, I would go to used bookstores and search them for hours looking for that secret knowledge of how we can actually build a better world. Some art books in here. Oh, there's the book The Sauna by Rob Roy. I built my sauna based on that one, and then I fucked up the design. It's not a good sauna. Just because you read a book doesn't mean you know shit. That is not where knowledge comes from. It's just one tool in a toolbox. But implementing things and doing it imperfectly is how you really learn. And we can certainly do better than what society offers us now. So, The Art of Watching Films. I've been watching a lot of films. I should look at that book again. The idea of rereading some of these books that affected me when I was very young is very interesting to me. Oh, Your Edible Landscape Naturally by Robert Couric. Isaac Asimov. Somebody gave me that book. The Bible Dictionary, Tantric Yoga. Some Zen books. I like Zen stuff a lot. Books from college. I mean, there's a book down there that I had in 1985. Sharpening. There's a whole book just on sharpening tools. A little bit of fiction in here, but mostly this is nonfiction. I'm a big fan of nonfiction. Root Cellars, Primitive Skills and Crafts. My House is Killing Me. That also affects my architectural thoughts. Oh, man. I love books so much. It does bum me out that it's possible there's an entire generation of people who are being raised without books. And I look everything up online now. I rarely read books. And I also download books to read as ebooks. Yes, these books here are good too, even though this is not the ones I just insulted this whole library. It's very bad of me. But Rumi's in here. Great Games. Vagabonding. Red Mars, a great science fiction book. The Red Mars trilogy is awesome, by Kim Stanley Robinson. I got books written by the Army. RVing Basics. An old book of games. The New Age Movement. How to Stay Alive in the Woods. How to Stay Alive in the Woods was one of my favorite books when I was very young, by Bradford Anger. And that's because I was, spent a lot of time in the woods. Oh, the Jefferson Bible. The best Bible there is right now. The best Christian Bible is the Jefferson Bible. And if you look it up and you're a Christian, you're not going to like it. Outline of Socialist Labor, Civil and Criminal Law. It's an old book. This is the kind of book I could sell online. There's somebody who would buy that. I have another book I looked up, and people have offered me money for it. I don't want to say in this video what the name of it is, but it's kind of like extreme. Oh, Where There Is No Doctor. I've got that in English and Spanish. Complete Guide to Buddhism in America. I think I have about 3,000 books. It's around that. I didn't count them. I gotta go. I still want to eat my sandwich. It's cold now, probably, which is fine. I don't need much. I want to make these books available to people, because I guess if nobody's reading them, then what am I really? I'm a book hoarder. Of course, most people hoard books, and I think most books should be set up so that they get shared to the highest degree possible. And I think there is a difference, and you can tell me what you think about this. Not like you need my permission, although I may or may not approve your comment. Do I have my keys? Yes, I do. Oh, there's cooking books behind this door. There's a whole bunch of really cool books like The Science of Food or something like that, or I forgot the name. What is the difference between reading an ebook and a web page? Well, a book format something goes into more depth. They can get deeper with it. So I like books for that reason. Also, there is something very comfortable about reading a book that is in physical format. Also, being a person who currently has no electrical power at all, like all systems have failed, all backup systems have failed, and the only thing I've got left is I've got 2 batteries for this camera that are charged, and this one I'm running out right now. So, books work without electricity, which is a pretty cool thing. I'll give you one more reference, and that is Low Tech Magazine. That is a website, but they offer printed versions of it. I think it's, I don't know if it's LO or LOW, Low Tech Magazine, you'll find it. And they actually sell printed versions in many languages, and they have a volunteer staff that translates it. And I would love to order that. I want printed copies of everything that I think is important that's online, because at any time there could be a solar flare that could knock out all this shit that's virtual, all your electric shit you think is important. It could all just go away. And so take a moment or two to imagine, what if all the internet went away? What would you lose that you're used to? What if your ability to have electricity went away? I mean, we're looking at the total collapse of civilization when we talk about that. And I hope that we have libraries again. I mean, there's still libraries out there, but I want a library that's underground storage, humidity controlled, so they can never get wet or destroyed. That, you have a study room where people come and study the books, or they can check them out maybe, but they better make a super big social agreement on protecting that book. And because I'm not just talking about like books for entertainment, romance novels or something, but books for our survival. Like, what would our survival library look like? What do we have to know about so that we don't forget the lessons we've learned after civilization falls? There's no internet, there's no Bitcoin, you can't transact economically online anymore. Everything goes way back to basics. Well, do we know what basics are anymore? We need to know how to do a lot of basic shit, and I'm working on that here. Not very much, because I'm underfunded and tired and burned out and have a hard time giving a shit about civilization at all. Bad attitude. It's not my fault I have a bad attitude, though. Everybody else is working to destroy the entire planet. Hi, doggin'. But physical books, I guess. Yay, physical books. I'm in favor of physical books. And what would be in that survival library? I can think of thousands of topics, just topics, and then many thousands of books that should be included. And they might be things that, for the survivors of the collapse of civilization, would be useful for them to build a better civilization and not make the same dumbass mistakes that were made before. I mean, people love to talk about how indigenous people had this vision of something better and that we'll come into a new time where things will be great, and all this stuff. And it's like, well, let's not idealize indigenous people, okay? All that means is people a long time ago, and they fucked each other over, enslaved each other, and fucked over the Earth, and many times it destroyed their environment and their whole civilization failed. So let's not idealize them. But many of them did make attempts at saying, wow, this is the big thing we learned from the Great Flood or whatever mythologies they have. And they were trying to transmit knowledge, and they did fine in many cases. It certainly is entertaining, especially since much of it is delusional. But we can, much like them, attempt to transmit information from the glorious civilization we're currently in of massive resources into the future, which will have less, but we can keep that knowledge of like microbiology and health and what we think we've learned about social behavior and our flaws and how we could actually make something good. How could we make some kind of solar punk pleasant world that we actually want to live in? And books might play a big part in that. Fuck, I'm home finally. Oh, I'd really like to go home. I wish I never had to leave, actually. That could be one of my other goals. Fuck, wrong keys. Fuck, where's my other keys? I have a lot of things I'm going to have to do, and one of the reasons I'm avoiding restarting this place and inviting people is that as I've done things in the past, all it means is work and pain for me. Unless I can pick the right people in the right way. Hi, honeys. And have it be actually a good thing. Goodbye. Yay, books, yay. Love books. Books are better. Are printed word. You can write your own books. I should write my own books. Everybody says I should. I could.